we can use this for future. So welcome again, everyone. We're here to do an info session about the Greece travel seminar offered in spring 2021. So today we'll do a quick introductions. I'm going to give a little bit of overview about spring 2021 and what we're thinking about that. Then we'll go over academics, on-site arrangements. I'll talk a little bit about the program fee, financial aid, and application process. And then we're happy to answer any questions that you might have about the travel seminar. So Amy and Leslie, do you want to introduce yourselves?
Sure. Leslie Mechem. I'm in the classics department. My primary teaching is and research interests are in art and archaeology. So I teach Greek and Roman art and archaeology. I also teach classical mythology. And for 3 years in Greece, many, many moons ago, before any of you were even a twinkle in your parents' eyes.
Amy, we can't hear you.
How about now?
Yep.
We're good?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, so hello everyone. I'm Amy O. I'm also in the classics department. My areas of research are on the later end of things. I like thinking about the fall of the empire, but mixed in with that, I also really enjoy thinking about cultural history in general, and part of that includes religion, ritual, and medicine. And so that's where Professor Mechem and I are coming together and pooling our expertise to give this class to you.
Great, thank you. And my name is Emily Gall. I'm a program manager in the Off-Campus Study and Exchanges office, and I oversee all of the travel seminars, working with the faculty on both the application process and preparation, as well as all of the on-site arrangements that need to be made for everyone. So a lot of students have been asking what is happening in spring 2021, and I do not have a firm answer for that. Right now, we are planning for these travel seminars as well as a spring semester abroad. But that could all change anytime. We ask that students are patient and flexible with this process of especially the travel seminars. We do have hope that by May, June, things might have calmed down and borders have opened up and it's safe to travel. But of course, we are monitoring the health and safety, and that's a priority. So we also have to abide by local laws. So there's a few things that we take into consideration. One is the Department of State rating for the country that students would be going to. Also the CDC rating is taken into consideration. And then whether or not the country, in this case Greece, will allow students, a group of students to come. And we also have to consider the current kind of 14-day quarantine that seems to be pretty standard for international travel, even travel within the United States. So all of those considerations will be thought about in making a decision. So we want to plan for this, but we also ask that you just kind of go with it. And if we have to cancel, we have to cancel. And it's not because we're trying to make bad decisions. It's because we are really thinking about the health and safety of the faculty and students. So that's all I can say. I have my little my pencil here that's very flexible. So that's probably one of the most key things is flexibility and patience as we kind of work through what the travel seminar will look like, how it might be different. But we do have hope that we'll be able to run travel seminars in the spring. All right, so I'm going to hand this over for the next couple slides to talk a little bit about the on-campus component and then what you can expect on site.
Great, so I'm gonna tell you guys a little bit about the course itself. So our idea for the course is to think about sanctuaries and essentially what they meant to the ancient Greeks. And in order for us to do that in class on campus, we're going to be thoroughly introduced to religion for the first few weeks. And then after that, we're going to visit specific sites in the classroom and think not only about their physical composition, but also what religious rituals, practices took place there. So we're going to come at it from not only wearing archaeologist hats, but we're also going to look at it in terms of historical context and if there were places of healing, what took place there, who was involved, that sort of thing. And we're going to start in Athens and make our way around the major sanctuary sites. And this is going to prepare us for the travel portion of the trip, because almost every place that we cover in class we'll get to see in person. So we'll get this truly 3D experience of these sanctuaries where Professor Mechem and I and whoever is going on this course with us will present at each site.
And just to say that this course is 3 credits. The on-campus course is 3 credits. And that and the travel seminar portion will be part of your spring course load. So you need to take that into consideration as you're planning spring when you register for classes in November. And I believe the travel portion is 2 credits. Is that right? I apologize. Yeah, 2 credits. So the one thing I just want to add, kind of back to the COVID piece, is that you can take this course in the spring, and if for some reason we need to cancel the travel portion, those 2 credits, you would be dropped from those 2 credits. So if you are really close on your credits, and that's going to be a big factor, you might want to take that into consideration. So happy to talk to you more individually about that if you want. Though we'll also be having a orientation, pre-departure orientation before you go that's separate from class. And then academics on site.
Okay, for on-site, once we get to Greece, the majority of our time will be spent going to individual sites and museums. So I'll show you some images later on, but we'll certainly spend a lot of time on the Acropolis. And part of what your academic work would be is to give a presentation on a particular site, or maybe a piece of sculpture in a museum, or perhaps an individual monument. You will have already given that in class on campus. And so this will be an opportunity for you to really soak in what being at the on-site monument is like, and then adding that to your presentation. And that will be worth 50% of your grade once we get to Greece. And one thing that might happen too is that, for instance, if you're working on something on the Parthenon, you might be giving part of your presentation on the Acropolis, and then you might also be giving part of your presentation in the Acropolis Museum. So you might be doing those 2 things. Another aspect of the academics on site is that we will be discussing things as we go along. So class participation is critical. You need to be there ready to rock and roll every morning. And we do start pretty early. We'll usually start about 8 a.m. or so. Sometimes we don't finish until later in the afternoon. There's certainly plenty of time to go swimming and do other fun things, but and so class participation, discussions in the evening, perhaps over cocktails, is also worth about 50% of.
All right. Yeah, and you've covered this. So do you want me to share?
Actually, Amy was going to talk a little bit more about academics on campus.
Okay.
Yeah, so in terms of what we'll be doing in the classroom or the assessment for the on-campus portion of the course, so you're going to have 2 short essays to do, 1 take-home midterm, and then a final project that you'll start and do most of on campus, but you'll finish coming back from the trip. And you'll have in-class presentations and an abstract and an annotated bibliography. And of course, discussion will be a big part of the course as well. Lots of participation.
Great. Just so everyone knows that you'll get 2 separate grades because this shows up as 2 courses on your transcript. So you'll get 1 for the on-campus course and you'll get 1 for the travel seminar.
Okay, now can I share my screen, Emily, do you think?
You should be able to.
Okay, so let's do this, and there's that, and we will share, and then we'll start here. Okay, let's do that. All right, so here are some places that we will be going while we are in Greece. We will be based in Athens, and I hope that we will get the hotel that we've had in the past because it's right at the Acropolis. So, you know, when we're eating dinner or having a drink before dinner, we can look up at the Acropolis. So we'll certainly be spending time here, a sanctuary to Athena, talking about what kind of rituals took place there, as well as the architectural and sculptural programs. We'll also go down to the Acropolis Cemetery. This is outside the city walls, and this is where the souls go when they die. And so we will talk about Athenian burial rituals and sculptural components as well while we're down there. We'll be looking a bit at some of the modern aspects of Greece. This is the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier in central Athens with the Ebzones in their wonderful outfits with their big pom-pom shoes. We will head to Delphi. Delphi is the sanctuary, one of the Pan-Hellenic sanctuaries to the god Apollo. It's a magical place, and once we get there, we'll see why Apollo chose it as his oracle. We're also, on the way back from Delphi, going to go to Josios Lucas and Eleusis. Josios Lucas is a Byzantine monastery with multiple buildings. We can go into one which has beautiful mosaics and wall paintings, and Professor O will get to instruct us a little bit more there about late Christianity in the Roman Empire. And then we'll also go to Eleusis, which is a sanctuary to Demeter and Persephone. We'll go to Corinth, which was a very important city in both the Greek and the Roman world. There is a temple which you can see on the left, bottom left, to Apollo. And this is also the place where Paul preached to the Corinthians, an early Christian minister. And so we'll be talking about Christianity there. We'll also go to Nemea, which is another Pan-Hellenic site. You can see the entryway to the stadium there. And then we will also go to Epidaurus. Epidaurus is a healing sanctuary to the, well, he was sort of a god, Asclepios, a son of Apollo. And it's got one of the most spectacular theaters in all of Greece. So we will be spending time thinking about this healing sanctuary, why Greeks would go there, and why theatrical performances would be associated with a healing sanctuary. And then, of course, we will go to Egyna. Egyna is an island that's off the coast of Athens. It's got a beautiful little temple, one of my favorites, in a sanctuary to a local goddess. So it's a little bit different, say, than the big sanctuary to Athena on the Acropolis in Athens. And there are some other ancient things to see there, but mostly that's it. And then we get to go to the beach, which is in the upper right-hand corner, just to entice you with some beautiful water. And we spend a lovely afternoon there. And then finally, we go off to Sunion. Sunion is a sanctuary to the gods, Poseidon primarily, but also to Athena. And it is the end point of land in Attica, which is the area around Athens. It's a spectacular site. You can see it on the lower left, how it perches on the rocks looking out to the sea. There's also a lovely beach down below with 2 tavernas where we can have octopus or calamarakia if we'd like. And then the next day we get on a plane and say yasas, which means goodbye. Okay, I will stop that share.
All right, thank you. Sounds like a very action-packed 10 days, I think it is. And that's one thing that's very different about travel seminars is that you can expect to have very long days. It's not like you're in class for 2 hours and then you also have out of class work. That the majority of the classwork that you're going to do on these travel seminars is going to be on site, visiting different sites. So it's just a different type of learning. So in terms of accommodation and meals, students will be staying, right now we have students in double rooms in hotels. So there's a variety of different hotels that you'll be staying at. That could change depending on what regulations are. They could be singles, but for now, plan on sharing with one other person. And then your meals, there's a couple of group meals, and then the rest of the meals will be on your own, and you will receive a stipend from Skidmore to help cover those meals that are not included as group meals. So you should have, all of your food should be covered essentially in the end. Flights, so there will be a group flight that we've identified. All group flights for Skidmore students go out of New York City. I believe this one goes out of LaGuardia. I can't remember off the top of my head. So you will have to get to the airport on your own and then return home or wherever you might go afterwards from New York City. So keep that in mind. This program departs very shortly after graduation. So for those of you that are graduating, you will still be able to go to commencement and then make your way to New York City to get on the flight. For those of you that have to go home, you'll just need to figure out how to get to New York City or to stick around the area until your flight departs. And we do have a flight identified that's nonstop on the way to Athens, and then there's one stop on the way home. In terms of the program fee, so we kind of have a sliding program fee depending on enrollment. So the more students we have, the less expensive it will be. So the program fee is going to be between $4,450 and $4,900. And for students who have financial aid, up to 50% of that can be covered by financial aid, depending on what your financial aid package looks like. That will be billed by the bursar's office for the spring semester, because this is considered a spring program. That includes obviously Skidmore tuition, your flights, some meals plus a meal stipend, all of your accommodation activities, and insurance while you're abroad. In terms of the application process, to be eligible to go on any of our travel seminars, you have to be in good academic and social standing with the college, meet any prerequisites, which in this case is the on-campus course, so you do have to enroll in that, and have a 2.75 GPA minimum. The application is pretty simple. It's all on our website, so that is skidmore.edu/OCSE, and there's a little apply button, so if you're interested start an application, you can go in there. The application, it's pretty straightforward. We have signature documents, which are just our policies and procedures that you need to read and sign off that you've read them and agree to them. We do a check on your social and academic standing. There's a personal statement and a few other short answer questions. We ask you to upload an unofficial transcript that you can download yourself from the registrar's office. And then we want your passport information and emergency contact information. So it shouldn't take you too long. You will need 2 letters of recommendation. Those are part of the application and have to be submitted electronically. So you're able to just go in your application, you're able to indicate who you want to do those letters of recommendation, and the professors will get a link to that and have to fill it out. It doesn't need to be a very extensive letter of recommendation. It's basically, would they recommend you for a travel seminar, or would they have you themselves on a travel seminar, and then any additional comments. So your faculty doesn't have to write a full recommendation letter. So just let them know that you're going to ask them, but let them know that doesn't have to be a ton of information. The other thing that, as part of the application, there's a $250 deposit, and this guarantees your spot on the program if you're admitted. So I say it's non-refundable, but there's two caveats. Obviously, if we cancel the program, you'll get your money back. But if you also have a short period of time between the time that you're accepted and the time that you commit. If you decide you don't want to do the program, that's fine. We'll refund the money then. And then, of course, we'll take into any consideration special circumstances. And the application, the deposit will be put towards your program fee that the bursar will charge your student account. The deadline for this program is October 15th. And that is because we have to review applications before the start of spring registration, so that you know whether or not to keep this amount of credits, the 5 credits, in your spring load. So just be aware of that. So that's kind of the end of what I have. Are there any questions? If you have any questions, you can speak up.
So for
Emily,
the
I'm sorry, go ahead.
so for the deposit, is the office of OCSE closed, or can I go drop off the money in person, or do I have to?
Yeah, so you can do it one of 2 ways. Our door is closed, but we're still working there. So there's a drop box kind of to the left of our door. You can put a check or money order in there. Right now, we're not accepting cash, or you can pay on the bursar's website.
Mhm.
Emily, can I just add for students general knowledge that all hotels include breakfast. So you won't have to pay for breakfast. It would just be lunch and dinner. And the letters that you get of recommendation cannot be from Professor O and me. They have to be from other people.
I also, sorry, I want to add one more thing that I forgot to mention, that if you don't have a passport or you need to renew your passport, please do that tomorrow because not literally, but very soon. The passport processing is severely delayed. So it's going to be several months before those are returned. So if you need to do that, and if you ever have questions, I'm happy to walk you through what you need to do, but please do that as soon as possible. So does anyone else have anything else? Any final comments?
I just wanted to clarify, the application is due October 15th?
Correct.
Okay.
If the letter of recommendation can't be from either of you, like, would you recommend a specific like department of professor, or could it just be like any professor?
It can be any professor.
Absolutely, any professor, Katie.
All right, well, I don't want to keep you all. I really appreciate everyone coming today. This is a great turnout. Again, we recognize spring 2021 is really up in the air, but let's all hope for the best and hopefully make this a program that can run in the spring. So please feel free to reach out to any 3 of us for additional information or questions. And I thank you for coming again tonight. Have a great night.
Thank you, Emily.
Thank you.
Bye.